What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the best women's boxing show, period. Bob Santos, it's happening.
Yes.
You got the man, the myth, the legend behind us. You are going into war with the legend Manny Pacquiao, Mario Barrios. I didn't want this fight to happen. I didn't want him to fight, but it's happening. When you got the call to fight, did you and Mario know at the same time, or did you find out first?
I think I knew first, obviously, because I work with Louis DeCubas Jr., and obviously he's in connection with Al Heyman, so we knew first, and I'm pretty good friends with Sean Gibbons, and we've been in contact over the last year and putting fillers out there and seeing what could be done, and here we are today.
I can't believe it. I mean, I said stay retired, but I get it. He says he loves boxing. He misses it. I get it. He's a legend, and it's hard when you fight someone, a legend like that. How do you get Mario to get Manny's respect? Because he's going to be fighting like, oh shit, I'm fighting Manny, but it's like your belt is on the line. How do you get him focused to be zoned in?
Well, I think the main thing that you got to do is that you got to look at just as an opponent. If you start to think, oh, it's Manny Pacquiao, obviously you're going to freeze up. And I think fortunately for us, we've been in a pay-per-view with Keith Thurman and guys like that. So I think this is going to get him ready for this type of moment. And to me, Manny is not, just a legend. He's an icon, and I think he transcends sports. So in the Asian market, in Japan, in Hong Kong, in Singapore, in China, when he used to fight in Macau with Top Rank back in the Bob Arum days. So yeah, he's an icon. And the one thing about Manny that I think separates him from a lot of others, he's all out. He's willing to go out on his back, and I think that's what separates him from a lot of fighters today. Yes, he might not have won every fight, but he's an 8-time world champion. I think his resume speaks for itself, and he's definitely in the discussion as the greatest fighter of all time.
He is being inducted in the Hall of Fame in June. So, I mean, it's now Mario can say, I'm fighting not only just Manny, but he's the Hall of Famer. But anything can happen. And the Senator.
Let's not forget that.
And that's on your resume, too, that you got to share the ring, not necessarily inside, but you were on the other side to fight Manny Pacquiao. Like, obviously you fought Freddie Roach's fighters, but how does that feel for you as a coach?
Well, it's pretty amazing because at a time I was, in and around Freddie Roach's gym, obviously. I was just, matter of fact, sharing the other day with the All Access. I think I still have it here. I'm going to pull this up for everybody to give everybody an indication of how long I go back to those days. So if you get a little zoom in there, we got Robert Guerrero and Manny Pacquiao back in the day. I don't know if let me see.
Oops, did I just touch it?
No.
Sorry. I don't know what kind of pictures are on your phone.
There's always nothing good. The wifey knows that, but I don't know if you guys can see.
That's incredible.
So, I've been in and around Manny Pacquiao for a long time. I was fortunate enough to be in and a part of Freddie Roach's gym. And so I think that's going to pay dividends for us that I was able to see him so much in sparring and put together a game plan for us to come out victorious.
He has been out of the ring, major ring rust, 4 years, and I just spoke with him about it, that you've trained, but you weren't in fight camp training. From what you know as a fighter, if you're going to be off, some people are off like a year, even like say Thurman. But is it muscle memory? But do you lose power? What do you lose because of all those years that he's been out?
Well, I think everybody's different, right? I don't think there's no one cookie cutter for anybody. Obviously, you'd want to be active. But if people got to remember this, just like in the Keith Thurman times, they're saying, oh, he's 40 years old now, Keith Thurman. And I was one of them. I said, Keith Thurman at the time, he's the best 147-pounder in the world. We went up against him with Robert Guerrero, fell short. So in my mind, there's no way Manny Pacquiao could win. I'm there ringside. Next thing I know, Keith Thurman's on the deck. The next thing I know, Manny's hands being raised, and he's in his 40s. So the same people that said, oh, Manny couldn't do it, he's in his 40s, now he did it. So we can't underestimate him. The Ugas fight, some people say, well, he didn't look as good in the Ugas fight, but take that as a one-off. Remember, people forget, he was getting ready for Spence, who's a lefty, and you're sparring for 2-3 months against a lefty, a completely different game plan. and now you're going against a 400-fight Cuban Olympian, so that's a completely contrasting style. So I take that with a one-off with a grain of salt, and we have to be ready for Manny Pacquiao. He's got the experience. He still shows he has explosive hand speed, and we all know the last thing to go on a fighter is his punch, and so we got to be very leery of that. And in this game, it only takes one punch. You don't even have to, you can lose every round. It just takes one shot. Till that bell rings or till you stop him, he's a live dog, and we have to understand that.
It really is, because Manny, he will be lightning quick around that ring, and once Mario sees him here, he's over here. He's over here. So I want to see how Mario is going to be able to take on all of that and those calves, the famous Manny Pacquiao calves. But yeah, he is now a new father, so has that also played into factor? Because father time helps. Sometimes it's a added bonus. It's like you're fighting for something now. But we know how it is as parents. Y'all don't get sleep. Well, I don't.
Well, I think, it's a big blessing to Barrios. I think outside of probably winning his world titles, I think the birth of his daughter is probably first and foremost in his life. So he's got a lot to fight for, but he's got to compartmentalize, and he's got to remember something. You got to stay focused at the task at hand. I always say this: lose your head, lose your ass. So your mind's got to be on Manny Pacquiao, not your daughter, not you're fighting for something, but at the task at hand is stick to the game plan and what's going to make you victorious.
Okay, so now that is the main event. You got a banging co-main event, Fundora versus Tszyu 2. And I love talking fights with you because you're always right and you break it down really well. We just saw them and we spoke to them both, and they know that what they have to change. Obviously, the cut really was a game changer.
Sure.
I did ask Tszyu, did he change his corner? Because a lot of it was to blame for, why not stop? He said no. So good, okay, it's loyalty. But how does this fight play out? Does it look the same minus the bloody gushy cut, or what?
Well, I think one of the other factors that's coming in, when he went into the first fight, obviously you had never lost in your career, right?
Yeah.
You'd been riding a wave of success, and we have to take it with a caveat now because he had the loss with the knockout loss. So I'm sure he's the type of person that can overcome that to a degree. You went against Joey Spence, but you're not going against Fundora. It's two different animals.
Yeah.
So when he's pressed a foot, we'll see how he reacts. They got a great bloodline, his father, so I'm sure he'll react fine, but we will have to see that because now you have lost. You're not the same animal that people perceived you to be, and now you're going to have to show that in this fight. And so I think that's the one caveat. If he handles that, then I think he has a good path to victory. If he doesn't, maybe something goes wrong in that fight, and then your mind starts to, the knock, the this, the that. If that happens, he can be in some trouble.
Yeah. I was just thinking because it's in the obviously 147, the glamour division. Since Barrios has the WBC strap, Norman has a strap, but he's also fighting in Japan. And Boots. Okay, Boots. Poor Boo. Did you guys ever offer a fight, a unification, or was Manny always the one on your guys' mind?
There was a little bit of feelers put out there with Boot Tennis, and like I told everybody, we'll fight Boot Tennis, and people are like, oh, Barrios, he didn't want to fight. But I said, come on, man. We fought Gervonta Davis, right, when it was the toughest fight. We're having a little bit of weight problems. We still went through with that fight. And Mario Barrios has never ducked and dodged anybody. You go from Gervonta Davis, your very next fight, you take on Keith Thurman, the best 147-pounder jumping up a weight class, and that's the first fight you take in the weight class. So for people to think that he wouldn't fight Boots in this, I mean, that's kind of comical to me.
Yeah.
So if it had lined up right, and the finances were right, of course, we would have stepped in the ring with anybody. For whatever reason, it didn't come to fruition. Boots ended up signing with Eddie Hearn. He went in that direction, and that's where everything kind of fell apart from there. And then we turned our sights towards Manny Pacquiao, me, Sean Gibbons.
It also helps. It's all the same family right here. All of
yeah, and Louis DeCubas Jr., like I said, and Al Heyman, they were able to pull the trigger along with Sean Gibbons, and here we are now.
So incredible. Now, I saw Teofimo. He was supposed to fight Boots. I don't know what happened. Too much Twitter drama. And he tweeted certain things to Turki Al-Sheikh, which you should not have, and the things that he says. And now that fight fell apart. But I know Teofimo, for him, he just wants to make big fights and obviously collect some belts along the way.
Sure.
Has a fight with Teofimo ever been presented for Mario? Because I know he wants to swoop in and try to just collect as many belts and just make a name. make a name in the welterweight?
Well, you know what? That's never been brought up to our attention or to fruition, but I'm sure, we got to take care of business first with Manny Pacquiao, the icon. And if we can be victorious and successful July 19th, I'm sure that's a fight that Mario Barrios would love to do. And I'm sure Beimo wouldn't mind doing that too, but we'll have to see how it plays out.
Okay, now on to other fights, Canelo Crawford. I think we've talked about this. It's almost there. It's there, but we don't know the date. We don't know the venue, but it's been announced. Who do you have now? And yeah, let's see. I have to look back in my interviews if you gave me a prediction. But who do you have now?
I had Canelo, and I still have Canelo, but I think that obviously, Terrence has earned the right to fight him. I think it's a tough hill to battle going up that many weight classes. That's my only concern for him. He's a tremendous fighter. Obviously, Terrence was with Victor Conte, Snack, like me, you, and all of us.
Victor.
Right, so I'm sure he has a great opportunity. He's got a tremendous team around him. But I think it's a stretch too far at 68, but if anybody can prove us wrong, it's him, and that's why I'll be watching.
Even I spoke with Coach Manny Robles, and he said he's such a talented and special fighter, so weight classes don't matter. They do, but then they don't. If you are that gifted and that talented, it doesn't matter if whatever weight class he fights.
Sure, I mean, if you got the talent level, obviously you can overcome those things, but it does matter, right? It does matter. It just depends on, is your talent level so much more so than what his punching power is the weight class, and that's the determining factor.
Okay.
It matters to what degree, I guess, is what your talent level is.
Yeah. Okay. Now on to women's boxing. We got the trilogy. You familiar with that fight? Okay. Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano 3. Who did you have winning the first, and who won the second two, and who will win the third? I'm putting you on the spot.
Wow.
Coach.
Wow. Flip a coin.
Who won the first?
I thought Taylor won the first fight.
Okay. Who won the second?
And I'm a big Amanda Serrano fan, and I thought she won the second fight.
Katie or Amanda?
Katie.
Really? Okay. Why? Why did you think that? Because it was very close.
I was there. I just felt that she kind of imposed her will a little bit more on her. I mean, I understand Amanda. She's a great fighter. Put a lot of great combinations together, but I just thought Taylor imposed her will a little bit more and made her fight a little bit more of her fight. And for me, I think that was the determining factor of why I think she was victorious in the first and the second fight. Okay,
now going to the third fight, Amanda Serrano has changed up her camp a little bit. What does Amanda Serrano need to do, since you saw that she lost both fights? What does Amanda need to do in the ring to ensure the trilogy as her victory?
I think she can't get into her fight. She's got to fight her fight. Don't fight Katie Taylor's fight. You don't have to sit in there and bang it out with her, that many rounds. I know, but she has a little bit more boxing skills per se in my mindset. So I think that is her, but you have more boxing skills. So implement that in spots. And I think if she does that in spots, she can change the dynamic, change Taylor's rhythm, and I think that's what would lead her to be victorious.
It's so exciting. It's an all-female card. Who knew that it was going to be on Netflix? I mean, Mario's was on Netflix, so you know how epic and the kind of fans that brings to boxing. We're talking like little kid fans that don't know anything about boxing, and they see a war. But Bob Santos, I'll let you go because I know you got pressing matters. Fight night tonight. Yeah. Big fight. Caleb Plant versus Resendez, and Charlo versus Cornflake. Yeah, they got to win their fights in order to fight each other.
My guy, Isaac Lucero.
Oh, yeah. Is he on
Baby Canelo. He's the opener in the thing.
Baby Canelo. Why do you guys call him Baby Canelo? Who gave him that name?
He just looks like, well, his real nickname is La Bestia, but he has the, he has the red hair, the cinnamon hair too. So he's going against a kid, real tough fight. We'll be going against a guy 23-0 with 20 knockouts, so that should be a banger of a fight, but we'll see how it plays out.
All right, well, you guys tune in July 19th. It is going to be eclectic. It's going to be an amazing fight because Manny Pacquiao is coming back out of retirement, 4 years retirement, to take on the WBC Welterweight champion, Mario Barrios. I imagine it's Mexico versus Philippines. Oh, the Philippines. Girl, boy, I'm telling you right now. The Philippines, Australia, and all of the Las Vegas dealers will be here cheering on Manny.
That's great.
Everyone's going to call in sick.
Everybody employed.
Right. Okay, Bob, we appreciate you. Snack family, Team Snack. Gotta get it. All right. Best of luck to you, Bob. I appreciate your time.
God bless you.
Thank you.